Welcome to the October 19th, 2020 Frankfort Village Board meeting. We call this meeting to order and we ask our clerk, Brian Fury, to take the roll, please.
Mayor Holland.
Here.
Trustee Borelli.
Here.
Trustee Clavio.
Here.
Trustee Farina.
Here.
Trustee Ogle.
Here.
Trustee Petro.
Here.
Trustee Severia.
Here.
Clerk Fury is here. Attorney Mahoney. Attorney Lamore. Chief Barica. Village Administrator Pisha. Assistant Administrator Cook.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item on our agenda this evening is what we call the unanimous consent agenda. All items on the unanimous consent agenda are considered routine in nature and will be voted on after a single motion. If one of the trustees wants to discuss any of the items on the consent agenda in more detail, we'll just remove that item from the consent agenda. So I first ask, do any trustees want to remove any items from the consent agenda? Not hearing any, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
We have a motion by Trustee Ogle and a second by Trustee Severia. And we do want the audience here in our boardroom and the audience at home on the television and on the internet to know something about the items that we're voting on. So we'll go over each one of them briefly. The first item is the approval of the minutes from the public hearing of October 5th and also of our regular meeting that was also on October 5th. The second item is the approval of the bills, and we'll go to Trustee Severia for a report on those.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The bills tonight equal $1,258,835.43. A few line items of interest highlighting how we spend locally. $3,000 to Alsep Nursery for downtown flowers. $13,499 to Bill's Landscaping for municipal mowing and bed maintenance. We had another $42,177 to Curry Motors for our new police vehicle. And finally, we had $3,413.05 to Russo's Power Equipment for various landscaping equipment. That concludes the bills for this evening.
Thank you, Gene. And then we have several items from our Operations Committee, and we'll go to Trustee Borelli, who's the chair of that committee, for a report on those items.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The first item was we talked about was the Pfeiffer Road extension. At our October 14th Operations Committee meeting, we considered a supplementary documentation for the Pfeiffer Road extension project, which connects Pfeiffer Road from US 30 to Lighthouse Point subdivision and extends along Pfeiffer Road a multi-use path and 12-inch water main. The Village Board approved an engineering services agreement with Robinson Engineering on July 20th, 2020 for the project. The Illinois Department of Transportation determined the transportation portion of the project is eligible for use of Rebuild Illinois bond funds, and the village desires to use the money to fund the design of the project. To qualify for use of funds, the village must approve and execute IDOT format documentation as a supplement to the existing engineering services agreement. And the committee forwarded a recommendation, and the motion before us tonight is to accept the recommendation of the Operations Committee and adopt a resolution authorizing the execution of the IDOT preliminary engineering services agreement and resolution for improvement under the Illinois Highway Code, appropriating Rebuild Illinois bond funds in the amount of $159,500.00 for design engineering services for the extension and construction of Pfeiffer Road from US Route 30 to south of Colorado Avenue as supplementary documentation to the agreement authorized by resolution number 20-32. Excuse me. The other item we discussed at our Operations Committee meeting was the Public Works Department equipment replacement purchase and trade-in approval. Superintendent Kessel presented a proposal to the committee to purchase a 2021 John Deere 544L 4WD wheel loader to replace a 2009 Caterpillar 928H wheel loader due to mechanical problems. The wheel loader would be purchased through Sourcewell, a cooperative purchasing program, for a budgeted amount of $174,840.11. He requested the trade-in value of $52,000 of the 2009 Caterpillar be applied to the purchase of the new wheel loader. The committee forwarded a couple of recommendations. The first before us tonight is to accept the recommendation of the Operations Committee and adopt a resolution authorizing an expenditure to West Side Tractor Sales Company for the purchase of a new 2021 John Deere 544L 4WD wheel loader in the amount of $174,840.11, less trade-in of village-owned 2009 Caterpillar 928H in the amount of $52,000 for a total purchase price of $122,840.11. And the other motion is to waive the first and second readings and pass an ordinance authorizing the sale of certain surplus property owned by the Village of Frankfort, Will, and Cook Counties, Illinois. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Adam. And finally, we have one item from the Plan Commission. We'll go to the Plan Commission liaison, Trustee Clavio, for a report on that issue.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you said, we have one item before us tonight, is the Sleeman multiple variance, which the property is located at 254 Oregon Street. The applicant, Jim Sleeman, is with us tonight in the audience, proposes to construct a new single-family home with a detached garage on the vacant property located at 254 Oregon Street, which is in our Old Town area. The applicant seeks the granting of multiple variances in order to construct the single-family home along with a detached garage on the property. There's 4 requests. The first one is a first-floor building materials variance to permit the use of non-masonry composite siding. The second is a lot coverage variance from 20% to 23.07%. The third is an accessory structure setback variance from 10 feet to 5 feet along the western property line. And the fourth and final is an accessory structure setback from 10 feet to 7.5 feet along the southern property line. At the October 8th, 2020 Plan Commission meeting, the commissioners forwarded a unanimous recommendation for all 4 variance grants and requests. So before us tonight, Mr. Mayor, is to accept the Plan Commission recommendation, waive the first and second readings, and pass an ordinance granting the following zoning variances to the property located at 254 Oregon Street for the construction of a single-family home and detached garage, a first-floor building materials variance from the masonry requirement to permit the use of non-masonry composite siding, a lot coverage variance from 20% to 23.07%, an accessory structure variance from 10 feet to 5 feet along the western property line, and an accessory structure variance from 10 feet to 7.5 feet along the southern property line, all in accordance with the reviewed plans in public testimony. That's my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, John. And those are all of the items on the consent agenda this evening. So before we vote on them, is there anyone in the audience who wanted to comment to the village board about any of these particular items? Not hearing anything, how about the village board members, trustees, any questions? Margaret?
Mayor Holland, I did just want to comment on the Plan Commission's motion this evening in regards to the lot coverage variance from 20% to 23.07%. In my 2 years on the Plan Commission and a year and a half here on the village board, I've only once approved a variance request for over 20% lot coverage. The previous was on Kansas Street, and the owners made quite a few adjustments to ensure that the house looked appropriate from the street and was according to the Old Town Homeowners Association's guidelines. I understand here we, as a village, created a substandard lot, and there was also a variance approval in 2014 with garages that would face the street, whereas what's in front of us today is more of a compromise. The garages do not face the street. The percentage was in reflection to that previous, the percentage overage was reflects the previous variance request. I know it went over a little bit during the Plan Commission discussions, I understand. So I just wanted to say I will support this tonight because it does pull our new comprehensive plan guidelines for downtown and in regards to garages and just the fact that we created the substandard lot to have your house or your client's house built. So I just wanted to comment on that in regards to my stance on overages. And I think we need to be careful because we've seen some of the homes in Old Town that have gone too far above our lot coverage, and it takes away from the quaintness of downtown and the beauty of downtown. The scale is very important. But in this case, I can understand why we're doing this. That's all, Mayor Holland.
Thank you, Margaret. Anyone else? Then we'll go to our clerk, Brian. Oh, Adam.
I wanted to also chime in on the 254 Oregon Street variance. I'm a I've lived on Oregon Street for a decade now, so this is a huge improvement to that lot. That previously, there was a 150-foot wide lot with a dilapidated house on it. Back in 2012 or 2013, a developer came in and raised the house, and then the lot was split. One lot was 85 feet, the other one was 65 feet. So I'm not sure why it wasn't split down the center. But the 85-foot lot was obviously developed right away, but the 65-foot lot is set for some time now. And so we've sort of pinned the developer into a corner with this lot frontage that we allowed, or the previous board allowed. I think it's slightly over, so I think it does fit in with the character. It's definitely a huge improvement to our block, and I'm grateful for the investment by the developer and the homeowners. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Adam. It's a beautiful home. Thank you. And we'll go to our clerk, Brian Fury, for the vote.
Trustee Ogle?
Yes.
Trustee Severia?
Yes.
Trustee Petro?
Yes.
Trustee Borelli?
Yes.
Trustee Farina?
Yes.
Trustee Clavio?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next item on the agenda this evening is what we call the mayor's report. The first item on the mayor's report is a congratulations to the 50 people who took part in Frankfort's 5K Old Plank Road Trail Run and Walk. The results are posted on raceroster.com. But we want to thank the people, and I put out a special thanks to Sue Lynchy, one of our staff members, who put this event together and took the time and the effort to not cancel it. And no, we didn't have 200 people like we usually have at that race, but we had 50, so that's great that we had a virtual event that was safe for people, and it took place. So congratulations to Sue also for doing all the extra effort. The 2020 leaf collection program is underway. It goes until November 23rd, and it's I think it's very much appreciated by our residents that all you need to do is get the leaves out near the street, not in the street, near the street, on the parkway, on the grass, and the village will come by and pick them up. Halloween window walk. Now this is kind of fun. The Village of Frankfort, the Frankfort Chamber of Commerce, and the Library District are co-sponsoring a Halloween window walk. Windows of local Frankfort businesses have been decorated by the library's Teen Advisory Board and students from local schools. Windows come alive on Thursday, October 22nd. So that's this Thursday for Witchy Night Out. That's another event. That goes from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and on Saturday, October 31, from noon to 3. Anyway, decoration, something special for Halloween this year, and a way to maintain social distancing and still enjoy an activity. Trick-or-treat hours, by the way, for the Village of Frankfort are from 2 o'clock to 7 o'clock by popular demand. This year, a slight change to the hours. Halloween happens to be on a Saturday. Once again, people maintain that social distancing. It can be done in trick-or-treating, and it's not that complicated. I think you've probably seen the people who have the slides. They put the candy down a tube, and it goes shooting down to the kids at the other end, or you can put a table out in front of your home. There are lots of different ways to do it. It's not complicated. We can all have a safe Halloween. A country market ends on October 25th, so that's coming up in a couple of weeks. Country market, well, it goes this October 25th from 9 to 1, and then that's it. Daylight savings time ends on November 1st, so we go through that process again. And of course, in the fall, it's fall back, so you move your clock back 1 hour, get to sleep an extra hour this coming November 1st. Frankfort Arts Association at the Village Hall is going to have what they call Homegrown Pride. The Frankfort Arts Association inaugural gallery wall at the Village of Frankfort Administration Building will showcase artwork by local artists in its first exhibit, Homegrown Pride, which will run from November 9th to February 15th. The Frankfort Arts Association member artists who reside in Frankfort are invited to submit entries by October 30th. So that'll be kind of fun, and it's going to take place in the hallway that's just inside the entrance to the Village Administration Building, which again will be an easy place to maintain social distancing because there are very few people, except maybe myself, who walk down that hallway. And the reason I bring up the social distancing several times during the meeting tonight is we're running into problems again here in Will and Kankakee County. We've had 2 days over that 8% positivity rate, and when we have 3 days over the positivity rate of 8%, the governor is very likely to impose enhanced mitigation. So we're facing that, and it's almost for sure it's going to come. And we need to do everything we can to lower this spread of this disease. Now, if you won't do it for yourself and you won't do it for your families, do it for economic development, for the local businesses. When these enhanced mitigation efforts come in, it really hurts some of our businesses, and they fall squarely on the restaurants, and it's likely to again probably by this weekend. And it's very difficult for those people, and now we got to go 14 days with a low number, and then I think we have to go 3 extra days where we're below 6.5% before it comes off. So last time we did it in 2 weeks. Let's hope we can do it again quickly, or let's hope that something happens tomorrow when the positivity rate drops dramatically. That would be just great. Let's all do our part, and it's simple. It's keep a separation from people, wear the mask, and wash your hands. It's not that complicated, and I think we can all do it. So that concludes the mayor's report, and we'll go to our police chief, John Barica, for the police department report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And speaking of Halloween, we're of course disappointed this year that we won't have our trunk or treat event, but based on previous events, obviously social distancing could not happen at that event. But we do have extra police cars, and our DPOs and CSOs will be out on Halloween, and they will do their best to get out some treats to kids anyhow in a more safe manner. But we'll have several cars out there, and we want to remind people, of course, to be careful during those 2 to 7 hours, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Halloween. Not that they always shouldn't, but slow down in the neighborhoods. Obviously, there'll be a lot more traffic and foot traffic out there and pedestrians, so please be careful. Also want to remind residents to make sure that they check their credit reports regularly. We are still seeing a lot of the identity thefts with people getting the IDES cards in the mail. And of course, if you do get one, you can file a report with us, and you should. You can do that online. You can just go to the website, and you can do that right online, and we'll still contact you the same way and give you some tips on how to make sure you can have your credit either frozen or make sure that nobody else is getting at it. And of course, I want to remind people to lock your doors. Don't leave keys or key fobs in your cars. Put your garage doors down at night, and call the police anytime you see suspicious activity. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you, John. And then we go to our village administrator, Rob Pisha, for the village administrator's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to dovetail. It's my annual speech about putting the leaves not in the street. The mayor did mention it. We ask you to please keep your leaves when they're collected on the parkway. Do not put them in the street because they actually end up on the curb and then eventually potentially in the sewer, causing a potential backup. Also, just be aware, be patient right now. We should be able to get through town pretty quickly because there isn't a lot of leaves down, but as the time advances, when all the leaves seem to fall at the same time, it does take the crews a little bit longer to get through town, but we will get to it. So again, we ask you to keep the leaves actually in the parkway, not on the street. Also want to welcome a new member to our staff today. He started today, Chris Skruba. He is a senior planner. We're excited to have him on board to assist in our community development department. And I look forward, I think you'll have an opportunity to work with him, but we just want to welcome aboard. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Say, Rob, could you comment about early voting? Today was the first day of early voting. The village has 2 full weeks or 10 days of early voting. How did it go today compared to previous years?
It was very busy. I didn't want to steal the thunder from
sorry, Brian.
The clerk, so I will defer to
We'll let Brian
We'll
talk
let Brian
about
tell it.
Perfect. And with that, we'll go to our village attorney, Hannah Lamore, for the village attorney's report.
No report tonight, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Hannah. And with that, we have our part of our business we call other business, and we'll go to Brian Fury, our clerk.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I did stop by today to see how the early voting was going, and there was a lot of people here. So early voting in the village started today and will end October 30th. Today, we had 454 voters come to the village hall to vote today. It's almost a whole week's worth in one day. Voters can also go to the Frankfort Library to vote for early voting. Just wanted to recognize the incredible effort of Deputy Clerk Teresa Cork, as well as Susan Lucci and Heather Smith on keeping the flow of voters smooth and organized. It's with all the people outside, and there was rain, and they had to keep social distancing. They did a great job. They did a great job today as I was looking at it. And remember, early voting lasts for the next 2 weeks. So if it's too busy or whatever, and it's cold outside because we have to social distance, there's going to be plenty of time to get in here and vote. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Brian. Trustee Clavio.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have two things. First, I just want to say thank you to the Frankfort Arts Association and to the Wine Thief, not so much for holding the event that they had this weekend, but for putting their heads together to partner with two different organizations with our community to make both of them advance. And that's really what Frankfort's about. That's what's so great about all the different organizations we have and the businesses we have, is they do look out for each other. And it was really a good example of that. Socially distanced, masks, it was a great experience, and I think most of us had a chance to attend, so I think we would agree on that comment. The only other thing I have is to kids of all ages, have a safe Halloween. Safe has different connotations these days, so not only are we concerned about all the usual Halloween pranks, but we've got the safety requirements of COVID-19. And I dug out of the closet one of my favorite Halloween ties, who also happens to be my...
Modifying the different market. I know I was out there on Sunday, and even with a little rain, it was still a lot of fun and great vendors and lots of fruits and vegetables. So Sunday is the last one. So if you haven't had a chance to make it out there, if you want to stock up, please do attend this Sunday. And also just want to wish everyone a very happy and safe Halloween. Again, I think by extending the hours and keeping it during the daytime, given that it is on a Saturday, just allows for some additional social distancing opportunities and flexibility within the village. And daylight savings time, I do have to say, my daughter is 8, turning 9 on November 1st, so she's pretty stoked that she gets an extra hour for her birthday. So happy Halloween, everyone. That's all.
Thank you, Jess. Trustee Severia.
Nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Jean. Trustee Farina.
Thank you, Mayor Holland. I just wanted to acknowledge the Frankfort Arts Association as well. All of the trustees did attend, and the mayor, the event on Friday, which is fabulous. Also, I want to acknowledge Mayor Holland and Rob Pisha. Last year, I approached you about exhibiting the Frankfort artists in this hallway and utilizing this beautiful blank wall with very special and talented artists' work, and you supported that, and now it's coming to fruition. That's right in line with our comprehensive plan, which is very important. Culture and the arts is a lovely item to introduce to a community and infuse in a community, and I think that's great that we're headed that way. So thanks to both of you for your support in making that happen. That's it.
Thank you, Margaret. Trustee Ogle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My wife Kim and I were out and about today, came by the village hall, saw the lines of people waiting diligently to get in. Looked like it was all moving smooth, and dropped off a couple books at the library, and it was the same situation out there. There was a long line of people. I don't know whether it's, there's traditionally a much higher turnout for a presidential election, but also maybe because of COVID, there are people that are not working, they're furloughed or working from home, that they're able to get out there. But again, it was encouraging to see people making that effort to get out and vote. It's very important to do it. Coming up in the time between our next meeting, we will have a 911 meeting, the Laraway Communications Center. I'm the liaison for that, and that's Thursday, October 29th, and there may be some things discussed which I may bring back to the board at the following meeting for that. I want to welcome Chris, our new planner. Looking forward to working with you. And Jessica, it's a coincidence. My birthday is also November 1st, and I just also happen to be turning 9 as well. or something like that. And then I do wish all of our residents a happy and a safe Halloween, and not everyone celebrates this, and not everyone feels comfortable right now with this interaction, so if you turn your lights on, even though it's during the day, generally people know that, and if you have a enormous spider coming off of the house and spider webs too, they probably figure that they can get candy there, but not everyone does celebrate it, so please let's be respectful of them, and if there's not a light on at the house, move on to the next one. There'll be plenty of candy for everybody too, so that's all I have tonight, Mayor.
Thank you, Keith. Trustee Borelli.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I wanted to thank the clerk, deputy clerk staff for going forward with the early voting and doing that. It's a lot of work to begin with, and any election, especially a presidential election where the turnout is extremely high, and then throw on social distancing on top of it. So 450 the first day. I think I was trying to look through my notes, but the last presidential election, I thought we had like 2,000 total for the 10 days. So I'll double check that. So we're gonna blow that number out of the water. So it's great we're having it. If you can get, I think usually mid-morning or mid-afternoon, that's a better time to come, probably a lower wait time. So it's great to see our residents taking advantage of it, and I'm happy the staff has moved forward with that. So, and I also just want to wish our residents a happy and safe Halloween. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Adam. That brings us to the part of our meeting that's called public comments. Is there anyone who would like to make a comment to the village board tonight? Not hearing any, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This meeting is adjourned.